Amen.
Hi, Miss Cecilia.
Hi, everybody. Hi, y'all. Hi, Charles. Hi, everybody.
Been a long time, huh?
Okay, it's been
Amen.
We back to business now.
Amen. Amen. Mm-hmm.
We gotta hope everybody rested up because we finna hit the ground running, you guys.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
a
Yes, Lord. Mm-hmm.
Right, Ayana, you can go ahead and get us started.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to East Oakland Community Emissions Reduction Plan Community Steering Committee meeting number 22. Happy anniversary. 2 years. Let's get it.
2 years.
2 years.
And now we're gonna pass it off to interpretation.
Yes. In a minute, we're going to go ahead and slide, and then we're waiting on everybody to come in. Get comfortable. Make sure you hydrated. Make sure you got your snacks by you because this is going to be a meeting. So let's get ready. If you could turn it to the hey, see Charles ready. So if we could go to the next slide. All right, we have our Zoom interpretation instructions. Maria, take it away.
I'm okay. Can I?
Maria?
I'm on the English channel.
Can you hear us?
You designated me interpretation already. But
No worries. Give her a minute.
you've got me on the English channel.
Maria, take it away when you're ready, love.
Yeah.
I think Maria is trying to speak, but
Maria,
uh,
can you
hold on, folks. Raven, have you started interpretation by any chance?
Yes, I did.
End
Yep.
it. Let Maria introduce first, and then we'll start interpretation. Can you end interpretation?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening o buenas noches. Muy bienvenidos a esta reunión de la Junta Directiva para interpretación que se dará simultáneamente. Si pueden ver en los controles de la reunión o en el seminario web, la parte inferior o de abajo de la pantalla, por favor busquen el icono del mundito y haga clic en interpretación. Haga clic en el idioma que desee escuchar, español, Spanish, y opcional para escuchar solo el idioma interpretado, haga clic en silenciar el audio original. Si está reunido por medio de un teléfono inteligente, vaya a los 3 puntitos y siga las mismas instrucciones. Clic en el mundito de interpretación, seleccionar español y opcional para escuchar solo el idioma interpretado, hacer clic en silenciar audio original, donde dice MUTE, audio o original audio. Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much for that, Maria. If you could turn to the next page, we really appreciate it. And once again, welcome to East Oakland CSC SERP. This is our meeting number 22, 2-year anniversary. So we got a lot of things in store for you guys. I'm Mayana Johnson, your co-chair. Mr. Charles, we got Mr. Charles here. You want to say something, Charles?
Hello, everyone, and thank you again for coming back. And this is our 2-year anniversary. We are ready to get some work done, y'all.
All right, and we have our junior co-chair, Michaela Patton. Are you in the house, Michaela?
No, I think Michaela is not here today.
She's not here, but that's okay. She's here in spirit. So we're going to go ahead and go on to the next slide.
We got her back anyway. You know how we do.
Hey, always. We are a family. Next slide, please. All right, our meeting objectives. Present initial drafts of community concern statements that the Air District and CBE have gathered and collect feedback from the CSC. And the other objective is CSC members will learn about the next phase of strategy development. Next page.
You want me to do this one?
Yes, go ahead, Charles. Give us a meeting agenda.
Okay, so today's meeting agenda, of course, we just did our welcome, and now we doing the agenda 6 to 8 o'clock. Then, of course, our July number 21 recap, 2 minutes. Recap of our accomplishments and strategy development, presentation and activity, 65 minutes. We'll have a break around 7:15 to 7:25, y'all. So just set that on your clocks. What's ahead in strategy development will be a 30-minute activity, and then our next steps and closeout, y'all.
We can always use a break. You know how the day goes. Can we get the next slide, please? All right. Initial agreements and notes for participation.
No estoy oyendo la interpretación, por favor.
Uh-oh, something's wrong with interpretation. Let's give us a second, okay, before we move forward.
Raven, can you check interpretation?
Sí, ya la escucho hasta ahorita.
Is it okay now?
I'm checking it now.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't you turn it off and turn it on again? And make sure that Gigi and Maria are assigned interpreters.
They are.
That means
She said
everybody.
it's working now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Marina, for letting us know. So initial meeting agreements for notes for participation. Remember, one mic, one voice. If in person, raise your hand and speak, but since we're on Zoom, we're going to use the raise hand function under the reactions at the bottom of the screen. Have grace for ourselves and one another. Take care of yourself. Make sure you stretch, drink water, make sure you breathe. Mutual respect, empowerment, and active listening for all participants. Make sure to allow everyone to participate. So limit your comments to a speaking of 2 minutes. We will actively give reminders and alerts.
No oigo la interpretación.
Interpretation has went out again.
No, Gigi is not assigned, but Maria will start interpreting.
Everybody receives the message.
Maria will start interpreting because she can hear Maria.
Okay, thank you.
Sí, sí la escucho hasta ahorita.
You ready to finish, Ayala?
All right.
You can go ahead because she can hear Maria.
Our pass the mic method will be used to encourage participation amongst quieter CSC members. For any questions throughout the meeting, if in person, please raise your hand and ask a question. But since we're on Zoom, in addition to hand raising, you may also use the Zoom chat. CBE and BACMed staff will be responding to your questions.
What is popcorning?
When we're passing the mic by calling each other's names. So make sure we're popcorning and make sure everybody gets a chance. Let's go to the next slide, please. Charles, you want to give us community building?
Yes, community building, of course, we're not in person, so we're all on video. So your name, your pronouns, any affiliated organization. Community building on Zoom, of course, we'll use the chat and the reaction emojis to inspire and encourage one another. So if you hear something that you like, give them the thumbs up, show a heart or something. Let us know we hear you. You hear us. And note, CSC members, please raise your hand if you are not able to type into the chat, and we will have you speak aloud.
Sounds like a plan. We're going to go ahead and turn the next slide over to Alicia.
Oh, good evening, everyone. My name is Alicia Parker. I'm new to this team. I'm a planner with the Air District. It's really a pleasure for me to be here. I have a lot of kind of personal connection to East Oakland. So again, I'm really happy to be here. And I also will mention that I have worked for the last 2 years to implement the West Oakland Community Action Plan. That's the SERP for West Oakland. And I also worked to help prepare and do the community engagement for the Richmond Path to Clean Air, so the SERP for Richmond. So I bring that experience, and really looking forward to working with you all on these next steps and kind of getting the SERP underway and then implemented. But
we worked together before too now.
And that's right. And so I was a co-chair with Mr. Charles on the land use committee for the West Oakland Community Action Plan. So we worked for a few years in And that resulted in some tangible outcomes. We were able to write zoning code for implement a West Oakland Community Action Plan strategy that essentially created an address the incompatibilities of new truck businesses near residential uses, okay? But we can talk more about that later. So, but what I do want to talk about is this slide and let you all know that here we are in the third quarter of 2024, and we will continue to work on the strategy development and elements of the draft plan. So we're really getting busy, okay? We're really turning it up right now, and really look forward to the next few CSC meetings when we can share some of this great technical analysis, you know, really kind of synthesize the community feedback and bring it back to you, and everyone will talk more about that later. And I also wanted to mention that, as you all know, the CSC extended the timeline for this project. And so we have a timeline that calls for you all to adopt the SERP by the third quarter, so July through September of 2025. So again, thank you for allowing me to be part of this process with you. Thank you, Ayana.
No worries. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. Carly, go ahead and take it away.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see everyone tonight. Hope everyone's taking care and having a nice summer. I'll go over the CSC number 21 July recap as usual. Go to the next slide, please. So recap of July, CSC number 21's Built Environment and Land Use Presentation and Activity. CSC members were able to learn about the City of Oakland's environmental justice element policies.
La política de elementos de justicia medioambiental de la ciudad de Oakland.
Sorry, I can hear the interpreter, so it's kind of
I'm
throwing me off.
sorry. Yeah, Maria is out of interpretation now. I apologize.
Sorry, everyone. We're having some issues with interpretation right now.
Hola, estamos teniendo problemas con la interpretación en este momento.
No
Is
worries.
Gigi-
What's a party without interruptions?
That's right.
Yeah,
I
we're
don't know if Gigi is in the interpretation channel, but Maria certainly is not. She was, and that's why I was going as fast as Carly was going.
Okay.
Yes, this is Gigi, and I'm not in the interpretation
Okay.
channel. Haven't been
Yeah,
assigned.
sorry,
Yeah,
folks.
I'm restarting it right now. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
When
That's
you
all right. That's what a
restart it,
party
I
is
think-
about.
Okay, I see the globe.
Yes,
So everybody needs to choose.
Okay.
Language.
English or Spanish.
Okay.
okay. Now I think folks can just pick their appropriate language channel and everything should be working. Gigi and Maria, please let us know if you're still not assigned.
This is Gigi. I am assigned.
Okay, sounds good. Great. Sorry, folks. Please continue.
You ready, Alicia?
Thank you all. Okay, where I just was, I'll just repeat the slide. CSC members were able to learn about the City of Oakland environmental justice element policies and completed an activity on which community concerns might fall under those specific EJ element policies. CSC members also made progress on the community emissions reduction plan strategy development with 3 community concerns of our focus area of built environment and land use, which was land use in proximity to pollution, urban greening, healthy housing, reducing air pollution at home. Next slide, please. Thank you. And yeah, I'll share another quick recap of what occurred at the rest of our last meeting, CSC 21. From July, so CSC members approved the SERP timeline extension, extending it by 18 months. 3 CSC members, Andrea Pineda, Marina Munoz, and Marika Goolsby, reported back from the June 8th Oakland Airport tour. And lastly, President of Argent, Bill Crottinger, responded to CSC members' questions from the January 20th Argent tour. And from here, I'll pass it to Deanna.
Thanks, Carly. And I see Mr. Charles's hand is raised.
Yeah, I just wanted some clarification on what the urban greening actually means, so CSC members can understand clearly.
Sure. Urban greening refers to parks, trees, green roofs, any use of plants, greenery to improve air quality or reduce pollution. Thank you, Mr. Charles. So hi, everyone. My name is Diana Perez. She, her pronouns, really loving the energy in the room. I am a senior environmental planner at the Air District. And tonight, we are excited to share how far we've come in developing key foundational pieces of East Oakland SERP. And in particular, our goal today is to review and gather your feedback on the first draft set of community concern statements. So in the next few slides, we'll cover what community concern statements are, how we produce them, and why they matter. Next slide, please. So this slide highlights some of the key milestones we've achieved in the SERP so far. Last year was marked by several key achievements. For example, in May of 2023, the CSC adopted the vision and principles for the SERP. In June, you approved the East Oakland SERP community boundary. And then this past December, the CSC reviewed and finalized the focus areas and cross-cutting themes for the plan. And so today we want to draw your attention to community concern statements. Last Thursday, we shared with you the first drafts. They are really a starting point, and we are excited to work with you to make sure these statements capture the issues that are having the greatest impact on air quality and health in East Oakland, and that they are grounded in community knowledge and experience. Next slide, please. So let's take a moment to reflect on how we got here. The community concern statements were written by CBE and Air District staff based on feedback from 3 sources of CSC and community input. First, the community mapping project, which was completed last fall. It used the social pinpoint platform to gather survey responses from East Oakland residents. And in this project, CSC members collaborated with CBO grantees to collect the data. And this project allowed us to pinpoint major air pollution concerns and health impacts affecting the residents of East Oakland. Then we have the CSC brainstorming activities. Since February, as you may remember, we've been working together in brainstorming breakout sessions using a Mad Lib exercise where we've gathered your input by asking, what do we know, what is the impact, and what is the solution around community concerns that were identified in the community mapping project, CBE's facility focus list, and any other issues you felt were a priority. And then last but not least, we also incorporated information from CBE's facility focus list. This list highlights facilities in East Oakland that have been targeted by CBE campaigns due to pollution and environmental justice concerns. They provided detailed information specific to East Oakland about issues community members were most concerned about, including including concerns around dust, odors, and the proximity of pollution sources to sensitive receptors such as schools and community gardens. Next slide, please. So what exactly is a community concern statement? Community concern statements are key to developing our strategies. They are brief descriptions of the major challenges affecting air quality and health in East Oakland. They really are meant to be brief for just one paragraph. These statements pinpoint the main issues we will address with strategies and actions in the SERP. And so a community concern statement will answer 3 questions. What is the concern? What do we know? And what are the consequences? This means that the statement should identify a high priority issue that is related to air quality and health, include local knowledge, technical assessments, or data on complaints and violations, and then describe the risks to the community and identify sensitive populations near pollution sources. Next slide, please. So community concern statements really provide the foundation for developing strategies and actions. They identify the most pressing issues affecting air quality and public health in East Oakland, combining community input with technical data. And by clearly outlining specific concerns and their impacts, these statements are can help us set objectives and create targeted strategies and actions to address the problem. Next slide, please. So this slide shows examples of community concerns related to transportation and mobile sources. For this focus area, we have 4 statements, each addressing a different community concern. For example, the Oakland International Airport, trucks in the community, the I-580 truck ban, and freeway and high volume road traffic. Next slide, please. This is another slide with examples, this time related to commercial and industrial sources. For this focus area, we have 3 community concern statements. Each statement identifies key facilities of concern based on information from the Permitted Sources Emissions Inventory Report and CBE's Facility Focus List. And during today's activity, we will review these community concern statements, which provide detailed information and support for each concern, along with statements for the other 3 focus areas and the cross-cutting themes of urban greening and enforcement. Next slide, please. So as you read and review the statements, what should you be looking for? A strong community concern statement is grounded in community wisdom, so they should reflect the feedback and local knowledge you've shared with us. It also should incorporate technical information, that they be supported with technical data such as the emissions inventory report and other sources. They should clearly state the problem and its consequences, and it should be connected to improvements in air quality and health outcomes for East Oakland. Next slide, please. So thanks everyone for your attention and time. I'll pause here to take any questions before I hand it off to Carly, who will explain the activity. Does anyone have any questions about what we've covered so far? We have probably time for 1 or 2 questions.
Yes, I have a question. I wanted to know, when you use these acronyms, that they need to be made clear what those words mean. Like PM, what is PM on the community concern statement?
Thank you. Thanks, Ms. Cecilia. That's really good feedback. PM stands for particular matter, but that's good feedback that we need to be careful with acronyms and be spelling them out in the statements.
Thank you so much. Particular matter. Okay, thank you.
And if you guys have any questions regarding that during the activity, please voice that, because we need you to understand, that way you can put it on paper.
Thanks, Ayana. Mr. Charles?
I wanted to also support what Miss Cecilia said. We need to create an acronym dictionary on environmental terms that we use, so our community members can easily understand those terminologies. And one of the questions I think is missing in this right here is what we don't know. The question is what we do know, but we should be trying to find out what we don't know also. So I hope that's part of the activity.
Thanks, Mr. Charles.
I just wanted to say this, you know, whenever you use an acronym, it's always best to, in parentheses, say what it is. So like if the person, when reading it, they know exactly what you're talking about. That's what I'm speaking of. Because we need a dictionary too, but at the same time, we need to have it next to the acronym. So the words next to the acronym in parentheses, so we know what it is as we read it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Cecilia. That is exactly the kind of feedback we're looking for in the activity, and we've reserved 30 minutes, hoping that we'll give everybody enough time. We are running a little bit behind in schedule. I will pass it to Cynthia.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Good to see you all. One thing I want to note is I appreciate that some of these reports or prompts get emailed to us a week in advance. I really do. And just something I want to flag, that sometimes these emails are so long-winded Like even the subject line, I don't even know what you need me to do. Like, do you need me to read something by a certain date? Do you need me to respond to something? It just feels like a novel. And it's like, as a parent, as a full-time worker, like I don't have time to figure out what all these emails are. And so whoever is sending them, if they could be straight to the point with direct deadlines, with what you need us to do, I would feel more prepared to be in this meeting today if those emails were better organized.
By a show of hands, how many other CSC members feel this way? Masum, can you get a count for me, please? I'm seeing about 6.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm seeing a lot of folks feel that way. That's great feedback. So we can on staff work on making the emails more digestible, as you said, Cynthia. Thank you for raising that. With that, who is, can I pass it to Carly to go over the instructions for the breakout?
Yes. And thanks for bringing that up, Cynthia. I know I've also written novels in my emails as well, which you brought up. So thank you. I can go to the next, if you could go to the next slide for whoever's sharing screen. Thank you. So here we're going to jump into our activity. This is going to be our virtual engagement activity. So we're going to break up into small groups of 4. You're already pre-selected in the rooms. And in this activity, we'll be using Miro board, which is like Jamboard, to navigate the different community concern statements of our focus areas. Excuse me, we will be asking for your feedback on the community concern statements that we've gathered so far. And then if you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. And the activity instructions here. So while you're looking at the community concern statements, here are some questions to guide you through. 1, what resonates with you? And 2, what's missing or needs improvement? We'll have about 35 minutes for this activity, and we'll reserve 10 minutes at the end for a report back from facilitators on the room from what they heard in each room to make sure that we're not missing anything. And facilitators will explain the activity more in depth once we actually get to the Miro board. So you'll be broken up into your breakout rooms right now. Thank you.
Okay, opening up breakout rooms.
Okay, thank you, Raven. Folks, if you received an invitation to join a room, please do so. If you did not receive an invitation, means you should be staying here in the main room, which will also serve as one of the breakout rooms. Thank you.
I'll be changing my devices, so it's Josephine. I'll going to log back in. So just FYI, so you can add me to the breakout room. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. I think Ayana, sorry, Mr. Charles, you can go ahead.
Mr. Charles is in this room with Alicia and me, and the I can check the CSC list.
Sí, aquí estoy.
Yeah. Marina too. Yep. Let's see.
Are you guys ready?
Give me 1 sec to make sure.
Hi.
Okay.
Yeah, hi, this is Carol. Am I supposed to be in this room as well?
Yeah, Carol, you're supposed
Okay.
to be here. Yep.
Okay.
I have the list on the facilitation guide as well.
You are okay. Great. I'm just double checking. Misha, did you want to be in this room or you want to be in a different one? Okay. I think we're ready to go, Mr. Charles. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. And
Yeah.
so, of course, this is CSC meeting number 22, and this is our virtual community concern statement open house. Our instructions read as follows. Number 1, we'll pick a focus area, choose one focus area to start with. Visit stations. Number 2, go to each station within your chosen focus area. Each station will present a single community concern statement. Number 3, review the statement. Read the community concern statement at the station. Evaluate that statement. Reflect on the elements that contribute to a strong community concern statement. So we want your voice to be heard as loud and strong as possible. We want you to share your feedback. So put that on the sticky notes. What resonates with you? What was missing or needs improvement? And number 6, proceed to the next station. That means move on to the next station and repeat the process. And I think now I turn it over to you now, Alicia?
That sounds good, Mr. Charles. That was a great intro. Thank you for that. I guess I wanted to also say that in addition to the CSC members here, there are some Air District staff members. We have Janet Carrasco from the Enforcement Division. You all know Anna Lee from Community Engagement. And we also have Joseph Lapka from the Meteorology and Measurement Division. So, wanted to just kind of mention that. And then I'm going to go ahead and screen share. And then we can kind of go through the exercise, the activity instructions in terms of the mural board. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do, to screen share. 1 second. And then can someone put the link to the mural board in the chat?
Yeah, I could do that.
Thank you.
And can we make sure that everyone has access before we begin?
Yes. And so I'm going to put the link in the chat. If you can't access it, let us know. I will try to troubleshoot that.
Thank you so much, Anna. Okay, so I'm now screen sharing. Can everyone see that?
No. Would you please make the font larger for me, please?
I do. I just wanted to start by kind of zooming out to show you there's a lot to the board. So just give me a second. I'm going to kind of give you the overview. Okay, so I just wanted you to see that there's several stations here, and now I'll zoom in. Okay. Okay, so as Mr. Charles just mentioned, this is a mural board. And the idea here is that it mimics an open house. At an open house, typically there are stations around the room, and a community member can kind of, just rotate between the boards, the workshop boards at their own pace, okay? So we're trying to kind of create that in a virtual setting, all right? So that's the mural board. And so I'm going to kind of go over the instructions again. The idea here is that this group starts on the, that this group starts in the commercial and industrial focus area, okay? So I'm now zooming into that particular focus area. And then the other thing I wanted to quickly note are some of the, controls for the mural board. So the first thing is how to scroll on the mural board. So the way that you can do it is by either, sorry, my son, is either by, 1 second.
So Miss Cecilia, can you read the board?
No, I can't. The print is so small.
Yeah.
It's small for me.
Okay, Miss Cecilia, 1 second. I'm going to scroll in. Let me just, I was trying to, so in order to, kind of pan across the board, you can either, use this little arrow here on the side of your board, and then you just use the hand to pan across. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm not computer.
That's all right, Miss Cecilia. We'll get to you. We'll get there. I'm just kind of, I'm walking everyone through the instructions. Okay. So, and then, you use your mouse button, or you can kind of enlarge it with your fingers if you have that kind of a touch screen. But in order to drop a comment, okay, what we're here to do tonight is drop comments, is that you will kind of double click on a slide and then you'll type. So I'm just going to write test, okay? And then I'm going to say AP, okay? So those are my initials. So that's what I would do there. And then if I wanted to, kind of react to somebody else's typing, I would say, oh, hey, I like that. I like that test comment, right? So again, that was here, and that was because this sticky note is selected, okay? And let me just look at my notes to see if there's anything else I wanted to quickly orientate you to.
And
yeah,
I just want to, sorry about that. I think that like for Miss Cecilia, it's still too small for her to see.
Okay.
Like I'm zooming in and I can see it, but I don't think that she's able to. She's seeing it farther away, so she can't really tell what you're doing.
Okay. Well, the big kind of idea here is that we read the concern statement. All right. So now in my screen, I have zoomed in as much as I think I can. I can try maybe pop that in one more.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So, lastly,
Yo tengo una pregunta. Yo no tengo, yo estoy en el teléfono. No tengo.
I have a question. I'm on my phone. I don't have a computer. And so it's very difficult because this is the first time that I've ever done this.
Click the link to get into the mural board.
I think, give me 1 second, Marina. I'm gonna ask Diana about the Spanish translation. Hold on 1 sec, okay? And Alicia, continue, and then I'll address Marina's issues.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so everyone, the idea tonight is that you are kind of walking through this board, panning through it, and dropping comments at your own pace. So it's not an exercise of all of us kind of touring the board together, although, you know, Miss Cecilia, I'm happy to kind of walk you through the board if that helps. Or I can pan for you, I guess. When you're ready to move on to a different station, you let me know, and I'll move the mural board around for you. Mm-hmm. But we basically, you'll read the statement, and then you'll answer the question. So let me zoom out a touch, okay, and I'll zoom back in. But I just wanted to note that on this side of the board, it says what resonates with you. So we want to hear, oh, I like, you know, X, Y, and Z, or I like some piece, some sentence that really stuck out to me, versus, you know, I think it could really use an additional detail or something like that, okay? And then here at the bottom, we want to make sure that we've captured the concerns about East Oakland, okay? So those are the kind of 3 categories of feedback that we'd like from you all. Are there any questions about that?
I do. I would like you to refresh that in the chat so that everybody can access it, because we've had a lot of messages since then and people have to scroll all through it to return to it on their own.
To get the link to the mural board?
Yes. Could we do it right now? So it'll be fresh.
Sure. I could do that right now. And then I wonder if it would help if I try to copy and paste.
Sí la escucho, pero cuando meto pongo el zoom, se me va el mirror.
Yeah, there's a Spanish.
Yeah, I can try to, Marina, in a second, Alicia, could you screen share the Spanish version of this statement? And also, Marina, we can copy and paste the Spanish statement into the chat. Would that help you?
Yeah.
I would like to have a copy.
Yo digo que sí, ajá. Que pongan el chat.
I think so, yes. We can put it in the chat and you can help me.
Okay, I will copy and paste this Spanish version of the statement into the chat.
Okay, so thank you again, Anna. Appreciate your support here and your partnership. So I'm going to go back on up then, okay? Or should I leave it, Anna? What do you think?
Go on.
3 minutes each. Sorry?
Go on up.
Okay.
I will copy and paste right now. And I think what we have, if you're planning to do all the boards, I think we have roughly 6 minutes for each focus area, if that is your goal. But you're also welcome to just stay in one place, like commercial and industrial. And if you put any comments in the chat, Alicia and I can copy and paste your comments into a sticky for you. So I'm gonna give me 1 second, Marina. I'm gonna put that statement in the chat for you.
I would like to have a copy of the slides, please.
Yeah,
I
we can
appreciate
get
it.
you
That
that.
would help me a lot. If I just had a copy of all the slides, that would help me. Thank you.
Yes, we can get these boards to you, like printed out, like how Anish gave you the slides for the PowerPoint. We could do that.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I will let Anish know. And then Gabrielle, we are with the instructions, just let you know.
And whoever has their cursor over what I'm typing, move it so I can keep typing. I can't see what I'm typing.
Did that work for you?
Can someone tell me if pick and pull is on that list?
Mr. Charles, that is, it's not on the list here, but it's definitely in the, the materials that kind of discuss the commercial industrial concerns.
Hey, Alicia, you are screen sharing one statement, but I wonder if just for time, you want to hover over a different one so folks can read the next one, station 2.
Okay. All right, here I go. I'm walking us over. So are you ready, Miss Cecilia? So here we are. Now we just moved from commercial industrial concern 1, and that was particulate matter exposure from fugitive dust, material handling, and construction. Okay, so that was the category. And now we're going to zoom into commercial industrial and manufacturing facilities. Okay, toxic emissions and hazardous materials. And then it has some facilities of concern, crematoriums, cultured marble products, PCC structurals. And now I'll zoom in and you can tell us what you think in the note, in the stickies or in the chat.
And so DJ is just putting some time checks in the chat.
Quise enviar en el chat un mensaje y no me dejaron.
So if if your goal was to get to see all 5 focus areas and the different statements that have been generated from, you know, this process, then at 6:51, you might want to start scrolling over to the next focus area. But if you're happy staying here in commercial and industrial, you know, Alicia will stay focused on this station number 2. And Marina, I'm putting the Spanish in the chat for you right now.
And I can zoom out and kind of pan over to the next statement. Oh, it looks like this. Oh, I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. So next, the third station here, just trying to zoom out a second. Okay. I'm going to zoom in now. One more time. And so this is for commercial industrial sources. Oh, one second, sorry. I need to get into the top. I'm looking for the oh, I'm sorry, commercial and smaller industrial facilities. My bad, I was missing that. Okay. So some facilities of concerns here would be auto body shops, gas dispensing, gas stations, cannabis facilities, backup diesel generators, restaurants, and unlicensed food production. And so this is the community concern here that we've heard from y'all. Anna, can you see the chats on my screen? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can? Okay.
Yeah. There's a way you can mute it if you right click or the 3 dots. I think you can mute it. Yeah. I think that should help. Sorry, folks. Technology.
So I can't see them, just FYI, okay?
Yeah, I will let you know.
And so that was the 3, topic areas. Is everyone kind of looking at other stations yet?
¿Cuál es la tercera que no la vi?
Which is the third one, Marina's asking?
The third one I put in the chat. You might have to scroll up, but I can I just put it in the chat above DJ's time remaining. Do you see it, Marina? If not, I can post it again in the chat, the Zoom chat.
Ya la estoy viendo apenas, sí, ya salió.
Yes, she was able to see it. She just barely is seeing it or looking at it.
Okay, good. Okay, So I got a time check, Alicia, from DJ. So if folks wanted to move on to a different focus area, you're welcome to, and you're welcome to go to any of the boards. For English, you would scroll to the right. To the right of us is transportation and mobile sources. There are 4 statements. And then after, further to the right is built environment. And then you just keep going to the right and you'll see public health and illegal dumping. And so you choose your own adventure. You can go to any board that you would like. And I think, Alicia, you're screen sharing. Thank you. Yeah, you're screen sharing the different areas. And thanks for your patience, folks. Yeah, Google Jamboard, which we all really liked, is unfortunately going away. So we had to pivot. We had to adapt to that. And Miro was the best option for us. So we're all in a learning curve. Yeah, thanks, Cynthia. Yeah. Marina, do you want me to copy into the chat any other statements from the different areas of focus? I'm happy to do that for you. Let me know which other topics you're interested in.
Pues los 3 temas son muy interesantes, las 3 categorías, ¿verdad? Pero me he dado cuenta que en la número 1 y la 3 hablan del polvo, ¿verdad? Del
Dígame, para interpretar.
entonces casi son como similares la 1 y la 3.
So are 1 and 3 kind of similar? 2 is different, right? Because there are more toxic chemicals discussed there, correct?
Number 2, let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go to that board really quickly. Alicia, maybe you and I can try to address her question. So number 2 is more about the chemicals. Yes, this one is about the toxic emissions and hazardous materials. And the facilities as examples of concern are crematoriums, Evergreen and East Bay, cultured marble products, and PCC is structurals. Yeah. Medina, what do you think of this statement that I put in the chat? Is there something that's missing? What is missing? What resonates with you? And folks, I'm getting messages that, yeah, it's this is new. It would have been nice to get these in advance. Totally. You know, think of tonight as like the first time you'll see this. We'll leave the Miro board open over the weekend. Oh, we got them in advance. Thank you, Shamar, for clarifying. So we do want to leave this open. If it would be helpful to see this like in a Word document, we can do that as well for folks so that they're not looking at it in this format. Miro's just a virtual engagement tool for tonight. And we're open to hearing how else might be helpful for your accessibility. And again, yeah, thanks for your grace and patience as we adapt to this new tool.
Mhm.
Mr. Charles, Cynthia, do you all want us, does anybody or Marina, do you want us to go hover over a different board? We're happy to do that. If your, screen is smaller that you're using, some folks are able to just hover around themselves, but we are happy to navigate and let you all be in the driver's seat. We can follow where you want to go. Mr. Charles, is there a board you want to go, a focus area you want to go to?
I just want to say I have not been able to access this at all on my computer. So I haven't been able to give no feedback or comment. And I'm hella frustrated. I'm just gonna be honest. Um, because I want to participate, but I can't. All I can see the stuff, but I can't access no notes and stuff like that. So I would do my homework and look over this on my own and add comments later on.
Okay.
Are you able to zoom around it, Charles? Mr. Charles, are you able to like pan around it and zoom in and out?
No, it won't even pop up on my computer. Every time it's supposed to pop up, it comes up all snap, and I hate all snap.
Okay.
Okay, so how do you all like Google Docs? Because maybe one thing we could do is put these in a Google Doc and share that out as well.
Anything that would help, we appreciate.
Okay. Yeah, maybe both, and we'll leave, so just so folks know, we'll leave the Mira open so folks can work with it over the weekend. And I'll ask staff to put the statements in a Google Doc as well. And so you all can have different formats that whatever works for you, and have that available over the weekend. And yeah, apologies, this didn't work out, we will work to try to make this more accessible so you all can have your opportunity to shape these statements, right? Because these statements are going to be in the plan, in our joint plan. And so we are going to do our best to make this accessible. All right, and DJ said if your goal is to see more boards, focus area boards, do make that switch now. And then we're going till about 7:15, just a heads up. And then at 7:15, we'll do a report out. And then we will take a healthy 10-minute break. And then come back with another activity.
Yo no sé si en esta aplicación la tengo que bajar para que... Más los que no sabemos la tecnología.
También hay una aplicación en su teléfono si lo quiere usar. Eso es lo que lo puse en mi teléfono. En la aplicación, si tiene, no sé es su teléfono, pero también hay una aplicación que puede bajar. A lo mejor se hace más fácil eso, como lo puedes ver en la aplicación, en vez del sitio que están usando.
If you're trying to see all the boards, I think it's time to go to the next one. And this will be the last segment before we close the breakout rooms.
Ahí puede escribir ella como que nos debemos enfocar pues en los materiales fugitivos porque es lo que más me he dado cuenta que es lo que hay más aquí ¿verdad? En nuestra comunidad, en las industrias de concreto, asbestos, ajá, y que operan junto de donde hay esas escuelas.
I didn't catch all that. I don't think Marina is in. Am I not in the right room? I'm in.
Sí, porque no ¿cómo lo pongo aquí? No sé.
¿Puedes repetir lo que
I
dijiste,
I
María?
don't know how to put it here.
Okay.
Ajá,
Tell me what
que nos
she
debemos de
wants me to
enfocar,
put it
That
in.
we need to focus on the fugitive particles because in 1 and 3 we're the same. They're the same, and because my concern is in concrete, and we also can find asbestos there, and that's the dust that we're breathing in, and it's bad for our health, right?
She said that she was hoping that we could focus on the particulate matter, especially from concrete dust, since that's been a concern of hers since there was discovered some asbestos in that powder. So if there's a way for us to write that in for her, that would be great.
Okay, concern. Thank you, you both. So concern about the asbestos. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Ella
And
lo va a escribir en la aplicación para que no tienes que hacerlo.
okay. I will add that to. But I will go to commercial and industrial. Did Marina, did you say which board you wanted that in, or do you is
Yeah, she said the particulate matter one. Yeah,
Las
that one.
partículas, ¿no?
Yeah, that one right
Yes,
there.
the particles. Yes.
You did it. Okay, thank you.
También,
All right, I got it.
también sería bueno, ¿verdad?
It
Sobre
would
los
also would be good to mention about the diesel and what our mobile vehicles are expelling, because I live here on the freeway and that's my main concern. Okay. And also if they could focus also on this, because my house is very polluted because of all the dust from the freeway. And for my health, because I'm taking pills for my allergies, and my children had asthma, my kids had asthma. That's also a great concern that I have, that we could focus on that, on the emissions, the car emissions, so they don't pollute as much.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go to Medina. Do you want me to put that on the freeway one?
Yeah, I think so.
Sí,
Okay.
por favor.
Yes, please.
All right, not a problem.
My apologies.
No, don't apologize. Okay, so the concern. Oh. Concerns. Oh. Thank you, Marina. Okay, folks, we have about 2 minutes left before before everybody's kind of come join us back here in the main room. I think there will be an announcement about the boards being open, but yeah, you might want to start wrapping up your last thoughts. Again, the boards will be open if you want to continue reviewing them. And thanks again for your patience and all your feedback. There will be, we will time and feedback on these concern statements. So stay tuned. And thanks, Mr. Charles, Alicia. Do you two want to say anything else before we get everybody comes piling back into the room? Thank you both for facilitating.
Sure. Yeah, I hope that screen sharing was helpful in some ways. And thanks for, kind of experimenting with us today.
And I am gonna say we're gonna work on this, y'all. It's new, and as frustrating as it might have been, just that's what happened when change comes. Sometimes we get frustrated, but we're gonna work on it as a team and get this together so it'll run more smoothly next time. And I would suggest also that staff offer time to CSC members who have had a problem understanding this.
Yeah, that's we can offer a tutorial even after this meeting. That's a good idea. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Charles. Thank you for ending it on a positive note.
Let's give them a moment to come back. Everybody's coming back from breakout.
And Alicia, I think you can stop screen sharing.
And Anna, I would like to suggest that you kind of start off with the tutorial idea?
Sure. Is everybody back?
Yes, it looks like everyone's back.
Yeah, so just to start out, we had some really helpful feedback from our small group about offering the Miro tutorial again for folks who weren't able to join Carly before. So to continue our learning of and getting used to Miro, since thank you for your patience with the transition to this new tool, everybody. Jamboard is going away. Not sure why, but we were forced to find a new tool. And so we're experimenting with new tools and new processes, and thank you for coming along with us. And yeah, our group talked about possibly doing another Miro tutorial between now and the next steering committee meeting, and I think that's a great idea. So I want to pass it to the facilitator to kick off. I think, is that you, Carly, to kick off report back? Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. Yeah, good feedback. Great. Well, I think we can start with maybe the far left on the board, which was commercial and industrial sources. Is there a facilitator there who'd like to give a report back for what you heard in this room, or what you saw from people's comments?
I'm happy to do that. Is that okay with the group? All right. Okay, so it sounds, based on the, the kind of sticky notes, and I know not everybody was able to, work the board. It does seem like, kind of continuing to hear and to see comments about, specific sources being mentioned, and also kind of like wanting to have a little bit more specificity about the health impacts that are potentially, kind of caused by some of these industries. And then I'm kind of scrolling over, I guess, kind of reiterating. And so, there's definitely some, I think, head nodding and some, kind of appreciation for some of the information that's there in terms of the, kind of historic decisions about why things are the way they are in terms of redlining, and kind of like, some questions about why these kind of activities are not in other, kind of more in other places like Piedmont. Yeah, again, kind of like questions about, or like, some suggestions about having some more specific industries mentioned, and potentially, kind of specific air district regulations like 1118, and some of the, specific chemicals and why they're permitted, was also a theme. So, it seems like there's a lot of, we're hearing a little bit of some repetition of some of the last, meetings over the summer and in the spring, which is great. And also hearing some new ideas about how to kind of tweak and enhance the existing community concern statements. So I think, that kind of we're getting some good input. Does anyone want to add or amend anything?
I think that was a good report back, Alicia. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Alicia. We'll move to transportation and mobile sources.
That's me. So transportation mobile sources, we've got the Oakland airport, trucks in the community, the I-580 truck ban, and then freeway and high volume roadway traffic. And there are a couple of themes in terms of feedback I saw on the sticky note cards throughout those, including to be more specific about like quantifying impacts. So the size of the impact for the airport talking about more specific health outcomes and that type of thing that kind of was reflected through all four. And also a theme of talking about not just like the current state of emissions and exposure, but for some of these, they're expected to grow. And so thinking about what the future impacts might be and adding that aspect in as well with both the airport and then any increases to traffic, trucks, that type of thing.
Great, thanks, Laura. Next is bill environment and land use. I will admit it was a little difficult to facilitate and also pay attention to, you know, screen sharing, looking at notes. So I'm going to give the best to the best of my ability a report back on this. So we had, you know, reducing air pollution at home, proximity to pollution, urban greening. So some things about reducing air pollution at home that people mentioned was more of an emphasis on how renters are a vulnerable group due to relying on landlord resolving issues and spelling out what the sources are as well here and reducing air pollution at home. Like maybe there was like lead exposure and mold exposure named, but I know that there was a call to, you know, include other things as well for sensitive receptors and proximity to pollution. I think there was, an emphasis on the city of Oakland's role in proper land use and planning. And, you know, the issue not being that there needs to be more buffer zones, but maybe that industries actually need to be shut down. Trees in the urban forest for urban greening. I read that there's a challenge for residents that have to like upkeep the trees themselves. Also just a quick, you know, reminder for folks, if you did not put your initials in your comment, that'd be really helpful so we can get back to you on the Miro board. And from here, I'll name one more for vegetative barriers. Somebody mentioned that they think poor upkeep could be more explicit, illegal dumping, litter, etc., can kill these buffers. And I will pass it, I believe it's public health and wellness.
Yeah, thanks. So I also saw some overlapping themes here for public health, requests for more specificity, calling out reference back to what we know from Alameda County Public Health and adding some of those in. I appreciate that. Also, somebody commented on how calling out specifically the racism that is reflected in current health outcomes and how that resonates with them. I appreciate that comment a lot. So also, I was responsible for looking at illegal dumping as well, and some interesting comments about expanding a little about how illegal dumping attracts vermin and why that's a problem. And also comments suggesting the need for incentives to keep folks from dumping, that enforcement isn't enough, that there needs to be other reasons for people not to dump illegally. So that's a short overall report on that. Pass it back to you, Carly.
Thanks, Allison. And lastly, I'll pass it to illegal dumping.
That was illegal dumping.
Oh, sorry.
I did both. Sorry, I wasn't clear.
Okay, sorry. Great. Thanks for the report back. And are there any, I don't know, is there any time for any questions? Can somebody time check me, please?
It is time to go to break.
All right. Thank you, Raven.
All right, thank you, everyone. We'll just take a 10-minute break and be back at 7:35.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome back, everyone.
Erica, could you start sharing screen again? Thank you. I think we can
I think next slide.
yeah.
Sorry, next slide. Yeah. Thanks, Erica.
I think Diana wanted to say something.
All right. So we'll definitely, before we move on to the next slide really quickly, I wanted to find out, were everybody okay with the Miro strategy? How did everybody feel about the Miro strategy? Just 1 minute.
Yeah, and Deanna's gonna make an announcement about related to that as well. Ayana, just so you know.
Thank you. Anybody want to give feedback, or can you put it in chat so we can move on with Allison? Put your Miro feedback in chat and we'll review it. Allison, take it over.
I'm going to pass it to Deanna.
Thank you. So we've heard from many of you that Miro wasn't the best tool for leaving feedback on the statements, and we really want to make sure everyone has a chance to share their thoughts. So to make things easier, we are going to move these statements to a Google document where you can leave your feedback, and we will leave the document open for at least a week. So we have time to incorporate your feedback into the revisions before the next meeting. And we will send out the link and the deadline to leave feedback in a very brief and clear follow-up email after tonight.
Thanks, Deanna. I'm going to just jump in. Well, welcome back, everyone, from the break. And thank you for your participation in our open house, our first one on Miro. Now that we've gathered your feedback on the drafted community concern statement, we're going to take a step back and look at our framework for strategy development. Next slide, please. So our strategy development framework includes focus areas to identify the CSC's priorities, community concern statements to communicate specific information about the CSC's concerns. And from these specifics on the community concerns, we will create strategy objectives, strategies, and actions. Strategy objectives are responses to the community concern statements and answer these questions. What is the solution, or what is the desired outcome? Strategy objectives outline the end results we want the plan to achieve. Strategies are the roadmap to the solution. And finally, actions are the steps we need to take to achieve the strategy objective. Let's look at some examples from the Richmond, North Richmond, San Pablo Path to Clean Air strategy objectives to help us understand the work ahead. Next slide, please. Okay, here we see an example of the layout of the next 3 slides where we will examine some of the strategy elements. The next 3 slides are the same examples that we saw at our June CSC meeting, so they should look familiar. Included on these slides is the strategy number and name, strategy objective, the action number and description for 2 of the strategy's actions. Other parts of the strategy are not included on this slide, such as how is the strategy consistent with the East Oakland vision and principles, and other factors, but we'll return to those later in the year. Tonight, we're going to talk about strategy objectives because that's our next step in the development process. Next slide, please. All right, let's walk through this example. At the top, we have the name of this strategy. It's Commercial and Industrial Strategy 1, Control Fugitive Dust. Now, note here that these examples should resonate with folks, in part because they express and align with a lot of the community concerns that folks have already shared with us for East Oakland. So think about how these might fit into those concern statements that you took a look at earlier this evening. Does somebody want to read the strategy objective or desired outcome from this slide for the group?
No volunteers, I'll do it.
I'll do it.
Go ahead, Miss Cecilia.
Okay, this is the strategy. Okay, we want to create a dust white paper.
Sorry, Miss Cecilia.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually the strategy objective that I was asking if you could read. It's the one up top.
Oh, this one, the objective. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right. The strategy objective desire is a desired outcome, which reduces fugitive dust exposure by more stringent regulatory requirements. By 2025, implement the most advanced best management practices for controlling fugitive dust at the project level.
Thank you. Awesome. So this is a strategy objective that I think might resonate with folks. And I thought that it would align with the community concern to reduce PM exposure, for example. Under that, we have the two actions. We have 1.1, which calls for the Air District to create a dust white paper, and 1.2, which calls on the Air District to recommend local governments include best management practices in construction policies to reduce fugitive dust. Let's look at the next example on the next slide. This is our second of two. This is Path to Clean Air Strategy 2, utilize permitting to address commercial and industrial sources near community. Somebody want to volunteer to read the strategy objective on this slide? Mr.
Okay.
Charles?
Okay. Our strategy objective, which means desired outcome, making permitting processes more accessible and understandable, strengthen permitting processes by incorporating environmental justice principles, and stronger protections for communities.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So the actions that are collected under this strategy objective for this Path to Clean Air strategy are 2.2, which calls on the Air District to make improvements to permitting, and 2.4, which calls on the Air District to find opportunities to amend permitting rules to protect communities. So again, these are examples that I think would address multiple community concerns that East Oakland CSC has told us about. For example, industrial and manufacturing concerns, commercial and industrial concerns, and it's an example of where, also PM exposure. So we have one more example, and if we can move to the next slide, that would be great. Okay. This is Path to Clean Air Strategy 5, commercial and smaller industrial facilities. And could I get a volunteer to read the strategy objective here?
I'll read it. That strategy, okay. Objective is a desired outcome. Address community concerns with respect to smaller facilities and sources of the commercial or industrial nature. The objective is to reduce local and potential hyperlocal impacts from any of these sources.
Thank you so much. So here I see a strategy objective and some actions. I guess I'll look at the actions first. 5.1 calls for a diesel backup generator white paper, and 5.2 calls for actions to address emissions from auto body shops. So again, multiple community concerns could be addressed with this strategy objective and these actions. In addition to the ones that I mentioned before, we could also see some of our public health community concerns. For example, the cumulative health impact of outdoor pollution,
That might be one that we felt like this satisfied. Next slide, please. So we've talked through some of the elements of the strategies and looked at specific examples from Path to Clean Air. So now let's look at the process. So what this is an overview of the process that we are proposing. And it's going to be an interactive and iterative process that allows the CSC to provide its community experience and wisdom at every step along the way. Step 1, the CSC provides insight, experience, and wisdom based on living and working in East Oakland. Step 2, staff, this means Air District, Just Cities, and CBE, creates content based on the CSC's insight. Step 3, the CSC reviews the content. Next, staff revises the content based on CSC's review. And note that step 3 and 4 can repeat as often as needed, or as long as needed. And then step 5, CSC sees the revised content and agrees that it's ready to be added to the community emissions reduction plan. So now that we've done an overview, let's look at an example of how this model can work in practice. And we'll move to the next slide. All right. So tonight we've demonstrated at least 1 or 2 steps in this process. Tonight, staff brought the CSC community concern statements that were based on community wisdom collected thus far through community mapping, CSC brainstorming, and CBE's facility focus list and problem statements. Our activity asked the CSC what resonates with you and what's missing or needs improvement. Next, staff will take tonight's CSC reflections back and update those community concern statements. In addition, for our October meeting, we will draft strategy objectives based on the community insight throughout the process and what we learned tonight. Next slide, please. Okay, again, at the October meeting, the CSC will see some of the revised community concern statements and review new strategy objectives. Staff will take October CSC input back and update again based on comments. And then we'll also start drafting the actions for CSC review for November. So that was step 3 and 4. Next slide, please. And then we'll repeat that as needed. And the idea is that through October through December, we'll be doing these revisions and building each time. And the last step is that the CSC in January, we'll take a break. And during that time, our goal is to collect all the information, all the work that folks have done over the fall, and send it to the CSC in a packet. So folks will have an opportunity to look at it all together. And then when we come to the February CSC meeting, the CSC can share their insights and thoughts about this packet as a whole. Also at the February meeting, we hope that the CSC will be ready to agree that all or some or parts of these strategies are complete. Agreement may look like a vote on some specific strategies or actions or some kind of consensus activity. So that is, and we can talk about what that is. So let's move to our next slide and open up to questions and discussion. So what do folks think about this approach? Does it make sense to you? I'll pass to Andrea.
Yeah, I just wanted to add in there that we wanted to build in some more community engagement and get more influence from the larger community on our strategies. So it just seems like from the timeline, like now would be the time this fall for us to start doing those activities with them.
Great. And I know that there is the community engagement ad hoc or subcommittee that is working on those issues and community outreach.
So is this where we add our comments and stuff?
Absolutely.
So we do have an event coming up on October 18th and 19th. And I think that this would be a great community engagement tool and piece for our community engagement ad hoc committee. These same questions we are intending on asking in interviews. We want to get 200 interviews with community members that are not CSC members, so that now we have a wider dispersal of input from community. And I think this would be a good opportunity for us to work with the community engagement team on gathering that information along with our event. And so I'm bringing it up to the ad hoc committee that I also think that in the 2 years we've been here, we've compiled enough information about what we've done and where we want to go, that's some material we should be able to pass out on October 18th and 19th to community members so that they know the CSC is here and that we've been doing this work for 2 years. I think that if we work together more on what we all doing separately and combine those efforts together, that we'll make a lot better use of the great minds and energy of the CSC members that want to participate and be active and be outside. And so it's time for us to be outside, y'all. And this is a great opportunity to offer you guys the first chance to get out, pass out some information, and create this on your own, along with BACMed staff. This should be a CSC activity that they create a pamphlet on what they've done over the 2 years, what they're proud about, and everything else, so that we can begin to let the community know we're here. And so I'm offering that opportunity to our ad hoc committee. And this is a community-driven process. So if y'all want to do it, all you got to do is say that's what we want to do, and then we'll get it done.
Thanks, Mr. Charles.
Mm-hmm. I think that was a good suggestion because the community need to be aware of what we are doing. And hopefully they'll be able to spread the word out to the rest of the communities.
Thank you. Any thoughts about the approach to strategy development? Do folks understand and feel comfortable with the idea of creating community concern statements, and did it make sense, basically? I think Jamie has her hand up.
Yeah, I'm curious to know how this process went in other communities. Were there like pitfalls or challenges that we should be aware of as it's kind of going through this cycle? Because I feel like we kind of have some fits and starts, and I don't know if this is just normal part of the process or if we're just a special group.
Well, of course you are a special group, but and I invite my colleagues who've worked in other communities to weigh in. But I would say that yes, this is a process that takes time and takes a lot of thought, and people have a lot to contribute, and it can take some time to make it happen. I see Mr. Charles has his hand raised. Mr. Charles, can you speak to your experience in West Oakland particularly?
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to say to our CSC. In West Oakland, they already had an organization in place that had already been doing ground level organizing. And so the people were already aware of what was going on, what their concerns were. But for us, we're just now developing all of this. And I really believe that had co-chairs been picked first, and then this process began, it would have been a lot different and a lot smoother, because we all learning how to work together. And as Oakland being the only city on the planet to lose all their sports teams and to lose one of them twice, it shows how hard it is for us to come together and recognize what our mutual concerns really are. And so I just want everybody to understand that this is a tedious process, and it has worked differently in different places, but we gonna make this work, because that's what this is about. This is about our community coming together to help our community, no matter what the obstacles may be. Because I look at obstacles as challenges, and if we realize they're challenges, then humans meant to overcome challenges. And so that's what we meant to do. And I hope in the future we work more smoothly together. And I know I dedicate myself to making this a more smoother process for everybody involved.
Thank you.
And
Carly?
Oh. I'd like to say something too.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to say that, yeah, CBE, I know CBE was picked in this process because they've had a history of organizing in East Oakland and, like having a lot of campaigns against polluters. So, not to say that CBE, like kind of Shamar said, like I give updates at CBE community meetings, but not to say that that's like the only form of outreach that is being done. And there's a couple of events soon that I'd like to get out there for. Created a couple of flyers that I emailed to everyone. If you could, pass those along. Also very willing, of course, to, work with people on things. I know people have busy lives, but yeah, I'm always here for support. And yeah, if anyone needs anything, that's what I'm here for. And I'll pass it along. Thank you.
May I say something?
Of course.
Please do, Miss Cecilia.
I just wanted to say that we should, once we get all this information compiled, why not let the media know what we're doing? So hopefully they will join us and try to make Oakland a better place to live.
Thank you, Miss Cecilia. And I think that sums up all of our thoughts.
Great. Well, I'm going to pass back to Massam. Thanks, everybody. And please reach out if you have any thoughts later on and you want to share them.
Thanks, Allison. Mr. Charles, would you close us out, please? Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. There is a 2-day event. Last year we did our first annual community environmental awareness and empowerment block party. This year is going to be a 2-day event. We'll be at Argent Materials, and we'll be painting that entire pick and pull wall with a history of Oakland murals starting from the 60s up until what we want Oakland to look like in the age of equity. And so I'm asking everybody to support this effort. We're going to be doing voter registration. It's going to be a resource event. We'll have the Black Cowboys there. Mr. Fab is supposed to be there. So if you want to have a good time and then also help clean up your neighborhood and help beautify it, this is the opportunity. And Miss Cecilia, there will be media there, and I can guarantee you after our weekend, they're going to know that the CSC is in East Oakland.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm speaking of. And I'm glad that you're going to have Mr. Fab there because he's a good resource person.
Yes. And so this is going to be a great family event. Security going to be there. And when we sending out our flyers, we telling everybody leave their guns at home.
Now, where is it going to be at?
It's going to be at Argent Materials, which is our friend Bill's place of business. And we talking about building bridges between businesses and the community to make sure that we hold them accountable at the same time. And that's what the CSC is here for.
What's the address there? Because I'm not.
We actually have the flyers being sent to you guys.
Okay, please do that. Please see that I get one so I'll know where the place is. Okay.
And that ad hoc committee, reach out to me. We're gonna try to find a way to get you paid to do some outreach work.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Oh, and everybody come back next month. We had an Air District, CBE, the reflections, the update. We're gonna update the community concern statements. We're gonna do the draft strategy objectives. And this is going to all happen in our October meeting. And it's going to be a lot smoother next time. So everybody, anybody who had any issues, please let staff know that you would like to have a tutorial. And that way we'll have an accurate list of all the people who need help like myself.
All right.
Thank you,
guys. I wanted to say happy anniversary, 2 years. We've been doing this for 2 years now. We're starting to see some movement. Some forward movement, so let's keep it going and let's get it.
Hey, look at that October 18th as our 2-year celebration, y'all, because it's gonna be about the CSC too.
Okay, all right.
Love y'all.
Charles, I know you're gonna have some food there now, because you remember you're dealing with the elderly people. You got
food is free.
You will have food.
Both days.
We always have food. Why would we not have food? We always, we gotta stay fed. And by the way, check your emails for the DoorDash if you haven't. You guys should have food tonight. Use your DoorDash.
And, I don't have that. But
Miss Cecilia will make sure you get something, okay?